Hi there, this is Lenderrock, and I want to show you how you teleport the player, NPCs, or entities using a trigger teleport or a point teleport. So to use the trigger teleport, go into your block tool and create a block. Now turn this block into a trigger by pressing Ctrl T. Mark it and go into its properties with Alt-Enter. You now change the class to trigger_teleport. This is now a trigger that teleports the player or the entity or the NPC that touches it. You can specify this here. To teleport the player, just go to the spawn flags and check for clients. This is the default one. You can also teleport NPCs that touch it, pushables, physical objects. So you can just play around with what you can or what you want to teleport. The one thing that this thing needs now is a remote destination to where you want to teleport. So for this, I just go into my entity tool and I am looking for a target, an info_target. Just put it here. This is the location that I want the entity or the player to teleport to. I go into its properties and give it a name. So, for example, teleport location 1. I copy this string and I go back to the trigger, press Alt-Enter and select as a remote destination exactly this target. The interesting thing is it does not even have to be a target. It is just a good style to use it to use a target because it makes much sense. You could also say the remote destination is another entity with a name, for example, or another thing with a name. If I go back here, I could use this particle which has a name or something else. The touching entity will be teleported to that. But I suggest to use this info_target. So this makes much more sense and is a very good style. The other kind of teleports is the point teleport. This is an entity, so go into your entity tool and look for point_teleport. So if you want to teleport to this direction, to this destination here on the roof, just create this entity here. Go into its properties and give it a name. For example, teleport roof 1. I just copied the string. So because this is an entity, we need something that creates an output to trigger this. And we specify what we want to teleport. So we go back to the properties of the point teleport. And if you want to be the player, the default entity that is teleported to this direction, then write in the field entity to teleport, ! player. You can now use any other thing that creates an output. For example, this door. You can create an output on open and then say teleport. So I go to the door, select outputs, add a new output. On open, I select the target here. So I copied the string, but I just use the select tool. So teleport roof 1, and I just say teleport. This command will teleport the entity that you have specified to teleport in the point teleport. But you can also teleport different entities. There's another command that this point teleport has. So I just show it to you here on open. So we want to teleport the little gnome here. I created it before. It has a name called Chomsky. So I use the select tool here and say Chomsky should be teleported. No, wrong. I'm still in the door. I have to select the teleport and say teleport entity. Now this teleport entity overrides the default entity that is specified in point teleport with the one you write here. So I say teleport Chomsky. So this has now a name. This results in you open this door and the player as well as Chomsky will be teleported to this location here. So I found out that there is a little bug with the hammer editor here in the following. If you just create an entity, it has no name, and you want to teleport this entity somewhere. So you create, as before, a point teleport using the entity tool. You want to teleport it to here, and you give the point teleport a name, teleport street 1, and I go into its properties, into a bigger window here. Let's say you want now to be the entity which is default to teleport this freshly created GNOME, and this still has no name yet. If you select it now, it will ask you for a name. Let's say Chomsky 2. You can now create a trigger that triggers this point teleport. So select the block tool, create a trigger by pressing Ctrl T, go into its outputs, add an output on start touch, use the teleport you just created and say teleport. So when you compile your map and you touch this trigger, this Chomsky 2 will not be teleported to that direction. This has the following reason, because I set the name of the GNOME with that entity selector. You can see it here. I go into its properties, into the Chomsky properties. Instead of setting the name of the Chomsky, it set target name. So it set the wrong name. As soon as we try to teleport something with a name of Chomsky 2, we don't find this entity because this is the target name. So this was the thing that I found out, that there's a small bug if you use the entity select tool for a teleport. Otherwise, this trigger works very well. If I go, for example, into this trigger and select a new output, so the same as this teleport, but I use the teleport on the roof and use the default teleport, so I teleport the default entity. This will teleport me up to the roof. So that's it. I think I have prepared something here where I have just the preview window here. So this one actually already teleported me and the Chomsky up to the roof. So I go back and I walk over this. And now I'm just teleported here. I hope you like it. Take it easy.